जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-Lila, Chapter 2. Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text number 20. So basically Bhagavad-gita shloka. Atava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam krishnam ekamshena stito jagat. Atava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyaham idam Krishnam ekamshena stito jagat. Athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyaham idam Krishnam ekamshena stito jagat. हिंदी में जाओ, बाहर पीछे जाओ, हिंदी में पीछे जाओ, हिंदी में. बहुनैतेना किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुना अभ्यहम इदं कृष्णं कामसेन स्थितो जगत्. माताजीस. अथवा बहुनैतेना किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुना इष्टाभ्याहम इदं कृष्णं एकांसेन स्थितो जगत्. Atava or bahuna much etena with this kim what use jnatena being known tava by you Arjuna O Arjuna Vishtabhya pervading aham I idam this Krishnam entire ekamshena with one portion stitaha situated jagat universe. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead Shri Krishna said, what more shall I say to you? I live throughout this cosmic manifestation merely by my single plenary portion. Purport. Describing his own potencies to Arjuna, the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna spoke this verse of Bhagavad-gita 10.42. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankaja Nabhaya Namaha Pankaja Maline Namaha Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangraye. Here in this chapter, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is establishing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad-gita, as it is, Srila Prabhupada explains these 9th and 10th chapters, are very important because both are both are confidential knowledge, right? Both are 9th chapter and then 10th chapter. Both are confidential knowledge. So Krishna starts explaining his vibhuti, by saying, Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunume paramam vachaha yatteham priyamanaya Bakshami hitakamyaya. Prabhupada very nicely explains what is mahabaho. You know what is mahabaho? Mahabaho means mighty armed. Right? Arjuna is known as Mahabahu. Right? Why? Because he has got a lot of strength in his arms. He can release arrows with both the hands, both right hand. That's why he is also known as Savyasachi. Right? Mahabaho. So I want to ask this question. How many of you are Mahabaho in this? Anybody is Mahabaho here? Huh? Anybody wants to become Mahabaho? Huh? I will tell you. Prabhupada gave another meaning to Mahabaho. Mahabaho means got lot of strength in his arms. So Prabhupada says, you need lot of strength to follow 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. So Prabhupada says, anybody who follows 4 regulative principles, they are known as Mahabaho. How many of you are Mahabaho? All of us, right? You are not? Right? So if you are not Mahabaho, you should become Mahabaho. How do we become? By following no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, right? So we are actually mostly, the credit goes to Prabhupada, right? Right? Prabhupada actually just initiated everybody. Then what they should do? Then he wrote there is a handwritten note, that all the initiated disciples should chant 16 rounds, then follow 4 regulative principles. They all had a heart attack, how, like that. So then gradually, they all followed, right? That is actually Prabhupada Vibhuti. Like this is Krishna's Vibhuti, that is Prabhupada's Vibhuti. Make all the mlechas and yavanas, everybody to follow for make Mahabahu. Right? Only by the mercy of Prabhupada, right? We all became Mahabaho. Otherwise, we don't know. We don't even know that we have to follow regulative principles. Krishna keeps addressing Arjuna, Anagha, then Anasuyave, right? Anasuyave. Here, he is addressing Mahabaho, and then Priyamanaya. So, first Krishna is telling Anagha, which become free from sinful reactions, activities, Anagha. Then, so Prabhupada says that if you want to understand knowledge of Bhagavad-gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, the first qualification we should have is Anasuyave. So, Krishna is telling Arjuna that I am going to tell you Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam, everything that is to be known, I am going to tell you, after knowing which you will become free from all inauspiciousness. Why? Because you are Anasuya. So, if I am not understanding Bhagavad Gita, if I am not understanding Bhagavatam, that means I am Asuyave. So, what is the meaning of Asuya according to Prabhupada? There is Irsha and Dvesh, right? Asuya and Irsha. What is the difference between both of them? Anybody knows? Asuya means comparison. Comparison. I have, he has, I don't have. It's the comparison. Right? So we should not compare ourselves, whatever like that. Then Irsha means, Prabhupada says, that para utkrishta asahanam means somebody is making very nice progress. We became asahanam, intolerant. Right? So in this shloka, Krishna is telling, I am going to tell you again about all my opulences, because you are very dear to me. Priyamanaya. And then Hitakamyaya. There are Anudvega Karam Vakyam, Satyam Priyam Hitam Chayat. Right? Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Cha. Right? So, Krishna is saying in that Anudvega Karam Vakyam, Satyam Priyam Hitam. Satyavak we should say, Priyavak we should say, and Hitavak we should say. So Krishna is telling, what is your Hitavakyam? I am going to tell you what is best for you. Right? What is best for you? I am going to speak to you because you are very dear to me. Arjuna is not like, somebody, they think that, spiritual knowledge means, old age mein time pass nahi hai to katha mein aa gaya, you come for the katha, and then they will do yarning. Then anybody who yarns in the class, according to Sri Ramanuja Sampradaya, they don't have periods, in the school, they don't have periods. The teacher goes on speaking, goes on teaching. When the student starts yarning, then he will stop. Because you are sitting in the class and then you start yarning. So if you yarn in the class, that means whatever knowledge you have received all the while, it is gone from the mouth. Right? That is why you should not yarn in the class. Acha rest leke like that. Anyway, so Arjuna is not that type of student because he loves Krishna. He loves Krishna. And then again and again, he is asking very interesting questions. That is why Krishna is very, very enthused. Oh, I am going to tell you everything now. Right? 9th chapter, he said, I will tell you everything, but still he could not finish. So that is why he is speaking another chapter. That, and now again, Bhuya. Bhuya means, again I am going to tell you. Because he is not satisfied, He is not satisfied like that. Name viduhu suragana. Maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Aham adirhi devanam. Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam. Maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Nobody knows me. Name viduhu. All these suraganas, all these demigods. And then all these maharshis. Maharshis are greater than suraganas, demigods. Maharshis. That is why sometimes maharshis, they go and curse demigods. But demigods cannot do anything to maharshis. Name vidu suragana. Prabhavam na maher. Maharshaya. Prabhava means potency, greatness. Nobody knows. Because ahamadirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Because I am the very source of all these demigods and the maharshis. Right? I am the very source. So that is why demigods during Vritrasura's pastime, when the Lord appeared before them, they prayed to the Lord that, my dear Lord, you are the source of all of us. You created everything and then you created us. So how can we do any service to you? Right? So please simply accept our respectful obeisances. Beyond that, we can't do any service to you. Just offer, right? Like that. So that is. Then all of you remember this verse, 10th chapter, 3rd verse. Yomam ajam anadimcha vetiloka maheshwaram asammuda samartyeshu sarvapapai pramuchate. Right? While we sit in the class or while we sleep, while we're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, why do we get sleep? Why do we sleep while chanting? Because of anarthas. So what is the meaning of having anarthas? Anarthas means because of sinful reactions. Once we become free from all our sinful reactions, then you can sit and chant Hare Krishna nicely. Anarthas will go away. You can sit in Bhagavatam class and hear very attentively. Right? So how do you become free from sinful reactions? You want to become free from? So what you should do? You should understand that Krishna is unborn. Aja. Yomam. Aja. Anadi. I have no source. I am the source of everything, but I have no source. And Vetiloka Maheshwaram. Vetiloka Maheshwaram. I am the supreme controller of all planetary systems. See? He is yawning. Khatam ho gaya tumhara knowledge. So, Krishna is saying, asammudha. Sammudha. Mudha, mogha and moha. All three words are same. Mudha, right? Mogha. Mogha word kidhar aata hai? Somewhere else. Where else? Krishna, 3rd chapter also Krishna says. Very good. Evam pravartitam chakra nanuvarta yatiyaha. Aghayur indriya ramam mogham partha sajivat. Krishna is giving galis. Somebody who is not doing these yajnas, he gave 3 galis to them. Right? Indriya rama, mogha, aghayur. Right? Indriya, there are 3 ramas. Atmaram, Indriyaram, then Vishayaram. Right? Atmaram, we know. Indriyaram and then Vishayaram. So, this Vishayaram is very dangerous. Vishayaram, like that. Anyway, so like that. So, some mudha, asammudha. Mudha means rascal. Asammudha means samyak rupena mudha, complete rascal. Mudha himself is very bad. Asammudha, sammudha is very, very bad. What is sammudha means, mudha means foolishness. Sammudha means to think that whatever I think is correct. Like scientists, there is no God, um, all this, Darwin philosophy. Prabhupada said, Darwin theorized very foolishly. Like that, Prabhupada. What is that missing link? What is that missing link? My kick in their back. Right? That is their missing link. Right? Like that. So, that is Muda and Sammuda. Right? So, the real definition, what is Moha? What is Moha? Anybody knows what is Moha? Amiras Prabhu, do you know what is Moha? You know? That is Maya, no? Bolo Hemigir Prabhu. What is Moham? So that is the greatest Moha. So the definite, yeah, thank you Prabhu. So I'm coming to that. So Prabhupada writes, Moha means there are two parts of Moha. One is not knowing what is Karya Akarya, what is to be done, what is not to be done. And then another definition of Moha, Satya ko asatya manna, asatya ko satya manna. Right? This body is asat, but we are thinking Sat. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is Satya. But many people, they think that Sai Baba is God. Right? Ordinary man को भगवान समझ के वो भी मुसलमान था वो उसको अभिषेक करता है. That is why Hinduism is got destroyed. Like Rasraj always says, it is not Hinduism, it is Buddhism. Right? Ordinary people, they worship. So that is the Krishna ordinary man. Avajananti Mamuda. They think Krishna is ordinary man, historical person. He danced with immoral. But Sai Baba is God. That is called Moha. So Sammuda, Prabhupada says, Sammuda means Dehatma Buddhi. Dehatma Buddhi. So, Prabhupada writes in 10th canto, 1st chapter, that the greatest sin in this material world is to think that I am this body. And to think that I am this body, it is koti guna jada, more than Gohatya Pap. Gohatya Pap is considered higher, Mahapatak. Greater than Gohatya Pap is to think that I am this body. Millions and millions of times. So that is called. So one who is, Krishna is telling that Asammuda, one who is completely free from this Sammuda, he will understand I am Ajam, Anadim and Vettilokamaheshwaram. Such a person will become free from all sinful reactions and he is greater than these Maharshis and demigods. Right? Prabhupada writes in the purport that anybody who accepts that before creation, Krishna existed, during creation, Krishna is maintaining, after creation, only Krishna will exist. Anybody who accepts these three sentences, he will become free from all sinful reactions. How many of you agree? So, you are all free from all sinful reactions. Hare Krishna. Right? So, Sammuda, understanding Ajam and Anadim is okay. Vettiloka Maheshwaram, very difficult to accept. Right? Because I am thinking, I am the Lord of all I survey. right? The Lord of all I survey. So where Krishna is telling, it is mine. Right? Like all of you know, once one Prabhupada disciples, they took one gentleman to Mayapur. Prabhupada asked, what are you doing? He says, he's a glass merchant. Oh, Prabhupada commented, big chore, bada chore. I said, why? Because then they were surprised. Then Prabhupada told, where from your glass, how you are manufacturing the glass? From sand. Where from the sand is coming? Their baap ka hai? Yeah? Hamara baap ka hai, Krishna ka, right? So you are stealing Krishna's sand, you are stealing Krishna's properties, and then you are making glass. Then you are thinking, I am the owner of this glass factory. So you are big chore. Then Prabhupada, the disciples tell, Prabhupada, he sometimes keeps giving donations. Then Prabhupada said, small chore. Right? Like that. Right? So Vetilok Maheshwaram, very, very difficult to accept. Right? One devotee, I was explaining this one of the Sunday class, evening Sunday class. Then I was telling, he is a proprietor of some modern electronics or whatever. Then later on, I told him, you are not the owner of modern electronics. Krishna is the modern He was asking, how to understand this. Then I said, you know that you are not the owner of modern electronics. Krishna is the owner of modern electronics. The next Sunday coming and telling, Prabhu, I am finding it very difficult to accept that Krishna is the proprietor of modern electronics. It is in my name. So it is very, very difficult to accept. Right? You understand. The understanding means, it is said that, suppose a farmer, he is plant. Here you go. A farmer, he is, he planted, chawal ka, seeds and all. Then after some time, the rice comes, dhanya comes. So when that dhanya, it should be used for whom? For the farmer, right? It should be used because that is his sampatti, right? That is his sampatti. In the same way, entire world, it is sampatti of Krishna, right? Sampatti of Krishna. So it should be used for Krishna. That is what he is saying in the 10th chapter Bhagavad-gita. Vetilok Maheshwaram. Because everything belongs to me, so it should be used. In the dhanya, there are two covers, One is pusa, that main cover. And then there is a very small, you cannot see, very small, thin layer is there. All of you know? There is, above, there is like that. In the same way, in order to use the rice, in order to use the rice, we have to take that, outer cover. Then we have to very carefully clean that chawal, so that that thin layer also is washed away. So then this rice can be used for eating very nicely. Right? In the same way, the soul has two coverings. One is grass covering, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Please listen to this very carefully. Right? And then when we come into this material world, we are given that thin layer, that thin covering, that is called Man Buddhi Ahankar, subtle body. Right? Unless you remove both the covers, rice cannot be used. Right? Rice cannot be used. In the same way, Atma cannot be used in the service of Krishna unless these two covers are removed. That is why when we get rid of this body, then we are dipped into Viraja river. When we dipped into the Viraja river, that time actually subtle body is completely washed away. Then we jump into the spiritual world. Right? Lord Kapila says in third canto Bhagavatam that just like when you eat foodstuffs, Jataragni destroys, burns the food to, ashes. In the same way, the intense devotional service destroys your subtle body. Right? That is there. Like that. So that is why all of you should say, whenever you come in front of the temple, in Upanishad Vakya, this is, everybody should say, Ahamannam, Ahamannam, Ahamannam. Boliye? What is the meaning of, Ahamannam, Ahamannam, Ahamannam is that I should be, the first word is, I should be enjoyed by Krishna. Boliye? Ahamannam, I should be engaged in for the purpose of Krishna's service. Boliye? Ahamannam, third one is I should, because of me, Krishna should get Ananda. I should give Ananda to Krishna. Boliye, Ahamannam, Ahamannam, Ahamannam. This is spiritual aspect of, so I am also Sampatti of Krishna, right? Where did Krishna say? Bhumirapo analavayu kammana buddhirevacha ahankara mitiyame binna prakriti astada. Apareyam itaswanyam prakritim vidyame para. So we are both material energies, marginal energy, internal, everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna is saying, I am Vetiloka Maheshwaram. So I should be used in the service of Krishna. My body should be engaged in the service of Krishna. Then all this vibhuti that you are seeing, all material energies, that also Krishna is saying, their mind, they should be engaged. That is the meaning of Vetiloka Maheshwaram. Right? That is another way, like it is said that Tad Jalani iti Shanta Upasita. We should actually consider Krishna as Jalam and then worship. This is the Upanishad Vakya. Then you will get Shanti. There is a very deep meaning into this. Where did Krishna say, unless you have peace, you cannot be happy? Where? What is that verse? Nasti buddhirayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantir ashantasya kutas sukham. First, you want to become perfect in Krishna consciousness. Krishna says, you have to become peaceful first. Right? Many times I have been telling nowadays that if you want to become Krishna conscious, Prabhupada writes in 4th canto Bhagavatam that you should become joyful. In order to become joyful, you should become fearless. You should become fearless. Then you will become peaceful. Right? First peace. Then where did Krishna say? Again, in the last 2 verses of 2nd chapter Bhagavad-gita, again he says, Apurimana machala pratishtam samudramaha apaha pravishanti sadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti apnoti na kama kami. Right? And then again 5th chapter, last verse. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shanti mrichati. Right? This is a, right? Krishna is the enjoyer. That means I should not enjoy. Krishna is my everybody's friend. That Prabhupada writes in 3rd canto, 28th chapter. Nobody should claim that I am friend of so and so. No, because Krishna is the only friend of everybody. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. Then 8th canto, Gajendra Moksha prayers, Prabhupada says, because Krishna is the Suhrida of everybody, you should act on behalf of Krishna as a friend. That Prabhupada, anyway, that is uh, then when you become peaceful, how to become peaceful? Krishna says, dhyayato vishan pumsa sangasya shubhajayate. So you should become free from all this moha, krodha, all that, attachment and all that. Then you will become peaceful. That is why it is said, na viratho duscharitat na shanto na. If you are accustomed to duscharita, means bad activities, sinful activities, you cannot become peaceful. Right? You cannot become peaceful like that. That is why anything that we do, always all of you say, Shri Govinda, Shri Govinda, Shri Govinda. Boliye. You should say this and do it. Then, according to the acharyas, you will become free from Trikarana Shuddhi will happen. Trikarana Shuddhi. Trikarana Shuddhi means Manasa, Vacha, Karmana, it is called. So, whatever activities we do with our body, whatever bad thoughts we get to the mind, and then whatever bad words we speak, all of them will become purified if you chant, boliye, Shri Govinda, Shri Govinda. Right? There are some, whatever you are eating, before eating, you should say, like, Prahlad Maharaj, poison was given to him. What did he say? Om Achyutaya Namaha, Om Anantaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha. Boliye. Anything, before eating anything, you just say these three words, especially taking medicine. Before taking, like it said, especially Ayurvedic medicine, when you take chant this mantra and take, it will become Amrit. Right? So this is how we should become peaceful, by purifying Trikarana Shuddhi. Then what happens? In the Tajjalani iti Shanta Upasita. So in that Jalam, who is there? Who is there? Radha and Krishna. They are compared to like Mithunam, like fish. They are jumping. If you see, when the fish jump, like in San Francisco, the people, there is a fisherman's war. There, there is sea lions are there, or dolphins are there. People go, they pay money and watch, the dolphins, they jump, right? It's a fun for them. Like that, in this Sarovar, these two fish, they are jumping out of happiness. The fish, they are very happy playing. So who are they? Radha and Krishna. So it is given that yesterday Prabhuji was telling the friend of sun is lotus flower. Who is the, I don't know, in Telugu we call it Tamara Pushpa. But who is the friend of Chandrama? Means lily? Lily? What do you call in Sanskrit? Kumuda. Very good. So these two bumblebees, they have entered into the this Kumuda Pushpa, lily. Yeah? So as soon as the sun sets, the Kumuda Pushpa is closes, right? Closes, and then so these bumblebees, they fight amongst themselves. That see this now this see lotus flower. So this lotus flower closes when the sun sets. So these bumblebees, they get stuck in this lotus flower, and they fight among themselves. That you should have reminded me. You should have reminded me. You should have reminded me, like that. So that we could go out. So both the bumblebees, they are fighting with each other. In the same way, in this, so our heart is compared to Hriday Kamalam. And then in this Hriday Kamalam, Radha and Krishna, they are fighting. You know why? Because they are, when we attain peace in our heart, so these Radha and Krishna, they are fighting. I will help him first. I will help him first. Right? I will help him first. I will help him first. Right? So then Radharani says, I will help him first because first he addresses me first. Right? We always chant, right? Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna, Sita Ram. Like that they fight, it seems. Like that. So very interesting. In Vishnu Puran, Yamaraj, he says that Vasati Hriditasya Saumya Rupa Samamati Atma Suhrid Vipakshe Pakshe. In whose heart, Radha and Krishna, they stay very peacefully. Right? It is said. For them, it is Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayana, for us Radha Krishna. Right? Samamati, one who has equal vision. One who has equal vision. Equal vision, and then no animosity to even to the enemies. Towards enemies. Right? And then somebody who doesn't have raga and desha in their heart, and somebody who has equanimity, samadrushti, towards all living entities, including the enemies. In such a person's heart, Radha and Krishna, they live very peacefully, it seems. Otherwise, somebody who has ragadvesha, and then one who has discriminating against other living entities, in such a person's heart, such a person's heart, Krishna lives as if he is sleeping on a bed of thorns, like Bhishmadeva was sleeping, a bed of arrows, like that. So if you want that, Krishna should stay peacefully in our heart, what we should do? Give up raga dvesha and have equal vision, samadrushti. What is, one Shiva Acharya gives very nice meaning to samamati, sama. He says that, sukha dukkhe samay krutva, labha labha, jaya jaya. That verse is from 2nd chapter. So very nice. He says, Sa means Narayana. Ma means Lakshmi. Sama means Lakshmi Narayana. Right? Then Sukha Dukke, Jaya Jaya. Then what is it? Sukha Dukke Samay Krutva, Labha Labha. Sukha Dukke, Labha Labha, Jaya Jaya, Samay Krutva. Right? That means you don't be disturbed by, you keep Sukha Dukkha at the lotus feet of Lakshmi Narayana. You keep Labha Labha at the lotus feet of Lakshmi Narayana. And then you keep Jaya Jaya at the lotus feet of Lakshmi Narayana. So that is the meaning, it seems, the meaning of that verse. Sukha dukke samay krutva. Then naivam papam avapsyasi. You will be free from all sins. Tasmad yuddhaya jasva. Naivam papam avapsyasi. Right? Very interesting comment. Anyway, so this, when we understand Vetiloka Maheshwaram, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the owner of all this. So that is the purpose of 10th chapter Bhagavad-gita. So he is saying, you say that, I don't see you. But Arjuna, Krishna assured Arjuna that Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam. Pratyaksha means you can see, not that, after going to Vaikuntha, you have to, no, you see me here. How? Krishna is telling Vibhuti, step by step, you just go. When you are climbing the staircase, first you keep one leg and then you take upper stair, then you take, like that. You recognize Vibhuti everywhere. then you can capture Krishna. You recognize, you cannot see me now, my beautiful form, but whatever you are seeing, in whichever things you are seeing, recognize me. Recognize me. So next, fourth and fifth, Buddhir, you can put that verse, 10th chapter, Buddhirjnanam asammoha, Kshama satyam damasamaha, Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo, Bhayam cha abhayam evacha, Ahimsa samata tustis, Tapodanam yasho yashaha. Right? So, put that verse, 10th chapter, 4th Bhagavad-gita. Bhavanti bhavabhutanam matta eva prutagvida. Tenth chapter, 4th. Buddhirjnanam asammoha. Listen to this carefully, what I am going to explain. First of all, Krishna is telling what vibhutis are there in you, you recognize. Right? What vibhutis are there in you, you recognize. Then you can recognize what vibhutis are there outside you. What vibhutis are there? Krishna is telling buddhi. Buddhi. What is buddhi? Buddhi means knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I should know Tesham Satata Yuktanam. That is real buddhi. These scientific inventions and all are a kubuddhi. Etan drishtim avastabhya nastatmana alpabuddhayaha. Krishna is saying, prabhavanti ugrakarmanam kshayaya jagata ahitaha. Prabhupada writes in that purport, 16th chapter, they are inventing, you require a lot of intelligence, to invent all these nuclear bombs and all. But that is alpabuddhayaha. Then, nastatmana, they have lost themselves. That is why they are inventing those things which are very harmful to the world. Kshayaya jagata ahita. Krishna is telling. So, the buddhi means we are all buddhiman, sitting here and hearing about Krishna. That is actually buddhi. So, by whose vibhuti is in our heart that we have got buddhi? Huh? You recognize. First you recognize what vibhuti you have in your heart. It is because of me. Matta eva prutagvida. It is because of me you have buddhi. Jnanam. Right? Knowledge about, what is knowledge about Krishna? Then asammoha, not becoming bewildered. That means free from dehatma buddhi. Then kshama. Kshama means tolerance. Prabhupada, very interesting lectures are there on this verse. Prabhupada, please read. Prabhupada says, kshama means tolerance. Suppose somebody comes and tells you something. You should forgive and tolerate. If you are able to tolerate, then that means you have Krishna's vibhuti in your heart. If you become intolerant and start fighting, then that means you don't have vibhuti in your heart. Krishna's vibhuti in your heart. You understand it? Huh? Right? Then Kshama, very interesting. This vibhuti Yudhishthira Maharaj had. Because of his tolerance, he was keeping quiet. And then later on during Vanvas in Kamyavan, Draupadi, Bhimsen, they were all giving galis to Draupadi, even though very chaste wife, but sometimes she used to chastise Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because of your Kshama Buddhi only we are suffering, she was telling. Arjuna, on 13th day of Vanvas, they dressed themselves as Kshatriyas, armor and all. They said 13 days equal to 13 years in Vishesh Paristhiti. So let us go and, now 13 days are finished, let us go and attack Duryodhana. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, for me 13 days is equal to 13 days. 13 years is equal to 13 years. So if you want to go and fight, you fight, but I am here. So Arjuna started blaming, because of your Kshama Buddhi, we are suffering. You are just tolerant of these rascals. Like that. Bhima, puchna hi nahi. Because of your Kshama Buddhi, we are suffering. But Krishna, by his mercy, he gave that vibhuti to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is not a kayar, he is very intelligent person. Because of vibhuti, he tolerated, because he knew that Arjuna and Bhima are bachchas in front of Dronacharya and Bhishma Dev. Right? So, you prepare first. You prepare first. You become qualified. That is why, Arjuna became qualified by doing tapasya and pleasing Lord Shiva. Bhimsen got qualified by, getting mercy from Hanuman. After 13 years, when they become qualified, he tolerated. Right? He tolerated. Then, that is vibhuti. So, if you are, what did Mahaprabhu say? If you become tolerant, you will get Krishna. So, if you have that Kshama Buddhi, right? That means, that is Krishna's vibhuti in our heart. Right? Then Kshama Satyam. What is Satyam? Bolo? Anantarup Prabhu? Huh? What is Satyam? Bolo, Narsingh Prabhu, right? What is Satyam? Telling, bolo the kam se kam telling the truth, right? Huh? What is Satyam? Huh? Anyway, what Prabhupada said, I will tell you. Satyam means, very beautiful, remember this, right? Satyam means to say that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is the only worshipable Lord. And then we should all serve him. Bolo? He is the only worshipable Lord. And we should all serve him. If you keep saying this, you are speaking, you are the best Satyavan. All those relative truths are there, You should, of course, say truth, all that. But Satyam, Kshama Satyam, Dama Samaha, if you note down in this, there are 20 qualities Krishna explained. Right? 20 qualities. Out of them, 12 are singular, means that is singular. And then 8 are dvandva, bhaya, abhaya, sukham, dukkham, bhava, abhava, right? All these, right? Dvandva, like that. Anyway. So, if somebody comes and, suppose you are in a very distressed position, right? You're in a distressed position. And somebody comes and tells, I have crores and crores of rupees in my bank account. I have 1 crore in, IOB, 1 crore in S Bank, 1 crore in ICICI. Then I keep giving donations to everybody, to all the distressed people. What does that mean? What is your name? Adinarayan. Whatever. So, what you will do? Suppose you are in a distressed condition. You don't have any money. Then I come and tell you, I have a lot of money. I keep giving money to helping people. What you will do? Huh? Please give me, right? Please give me something. So Krishna here is telling Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha. So Krishna is telling, so you just ask, I have all these, opulences and they are mine. If you don't have, ask. So you should go in front of the deity and ask, my dear Krishna, please give me buddhi. Huh? Please give me jnanam. Please give me, my dear Lord, please give me tolerance. That is the greatest, right? Tolerance. Titikshva karunika, suhridam sarvadehinam, ajata shatrava shanta, sadavaha, sadhubhushana. Right? Tolerance, right? Prabhupada writes, very beautiful purport, 3rd canto, 25th chapter. Sadhu means, Jesus Christ, Nityananda Prabhu, they are all attacked, even though they are doing, and then they are very tolerant, right? So in ISKCON also, why we are fighting so much? Because we are intolerant. Right? Intolerant. Prabhupada writes this in the says in that lecture. Prabhupada says in ISKCON also, first thing we should do is tolerate each other. Right? Tolerate each other. Because nobody is perfect in this world. So we should not find faults in others. We should tolerate each other. Then there will be peace in the society. Like Prabhupada is saying this. We should tolerate if somebody misbehaving with us and all that. So if you don't have tolerance, what you should do? Ask Krishna, because he is the owner of Buddhirjanam Asammoha. Right? I will tell you one very interesting pastime, that during Karna Arjuna Yuddha, Karna, on the 17th day, there was a huge battle, ferocious fighting between Karna and Arjuna. Right? And only one day, Arjuna perspired. Pasina nikla ek hi din. Right? Ek hi din. Right? Why? Because Arjuna went to Indraloka. Then Indra gave him kiriti, vajraidam, vajra kiritam. So studded with all diamonds and all. That is why Arjuna, another 10 names of Arjuna, one of them is Kiriti. And then he made him sit ardhasan and one of off of the Singhasan. Very greatly honored, Arjuna. And he got that Nagastra, everybody know Nagastra, and that he released that Nagastra, and then Arjuna Nihatta, he didn't have any arms in his hand, because Karna was fighting like anything that day. Then he was standing without any arms. Then Arjuna, this Nagastra is Amoghastra. Whomever aimed at, it would go and hit that and come back, like that. So Krishna, Arjuna was there. Now it is death now. Right? It is death now. And then what did Krishna say? He pushed the chariot, few inches into the ground. And that Nagastra came and hit the, Vajra Kiritam. And then it cracked into thousands of pieces. What happened? Like that. So Salya told him, release again. It's not to be released again. Like that. Then again, again there was a huge fight. And then again Arjuna became Nihatta. And then Karna, he pulled his string up to the ears. Then he was about to cut the head of Arjuna. Arjuna was looking. And then Krishna immediately set the sun. Why? Because Krishna says, Madbayat vati vatoyam, that verse is there. Surya stapati madbayat, by my order, like that. So, because they had a principle that, after sunset, we should not fight. So he did not fight. Right? He did not release that arrow. So, for that day, he was actually completely shattered. Arjuna became lost confidence. Arey Baba, ye to, like that. So, next day, Karna came. He said, they have suggested, use Brahmastra, against Arjuna, and kill him today. Right? And the next day, Karna took out Brahmastra, and then he forgot the mantra. He tried to release some other Divyastras. He forgot the mantras. So Salya was there. So Karna was telling to Salya that Spurti mein nahi aa raha hai. Spurti. Sanskrit word. Spurti means it's not coming into, not getting inspired, memory. Then Arjuna, Salya said, golden words. How you will get Spurti? Because Spurti is on Arjuna's chariot. Right? Spurti is on Arjuna's chariot. Right? How we will get Spurti? And then later on he got killed. Anyway, like that, he is the one who gives all this inspiration, Spurti and all. So because he has got that Vibhuti. So if you want that Vibhuti, so we need all these Vibhutis, to become, to get love of Krishna. You right? Right? Abhayam, Bhayam, Abhayam. All this we need, right? That is why in the next verse, Krishna is telling, Etan Vibhutim Yogam. Next, then he is saying that Maharshinam cha Saptapurve Chatvaro Manavasthata Madbhava Manasa Jata Esham Lokam Imam Praja. Not only every, all these Vibhutis, now he is going to tell, I am, because of my, this thing, Vibhuti, Kumaras, Saptarshis, and all this, because of me, Krishna is saying, all the strength and everything comes. Then all other prajas also, they are coming from me only, right? Then Krishna is telling, giving a very according to some devotees, this is, we call it Vibhuti Yoga, but some people they call Avikalpa Yoga, because Etan Vibhutim Yogam cha Mamayo Vetti Tatvataha Sa Avikalpa Yogena Yujjate Na Atra Samshayaha. Right? Krishna, he says, anybody who understands my Vibhutis, my Vibhutis, they will perform Avikalpa Yoga. Avikalpa means without deviation. Vichalit huye bina. Avikalpa. So that is why Krishna is going to explain all his Vibhutis. Right? When you close your eyes, you see Krishna. When you open your eyes, you see Vishwam. Right? That is actually Maya. Right? When you open your eyes, when you close your eyes, right? You see Krishna and Krishna's Vibhuti. Then you are always Krishna conscious. Right? Rasoham apsukonteya. Prabhashmi Shashiyuriya. Pranava Sarve. Prabhupada, says in that famous lecture. Prabhupada, I think Queen Kunti's prayer, Prabhupada says that. When you are drinking alcohol also, if you think that the taste of this alcohol is Krishna, then Prabhupada says, laughs. There are, even a drunkard also can become a devotee. There is no shortage of drunkards in your country. Have you heard this lecture? Queen Kunti's prayers, like that. So, Avikalpa Yogena. So, he is going to explain all this, very wonderfully. So, there is a dirty water and there is clean water, but we prefer to drink clean water, right? In the same way, Krishna is present everywhere, but Krishna is telling us to how to recognize him specifically by saying that, where I invested my potency. Right? Krishna is going to, what is that? Praladaschi Daityanam, Kalam Kalavitamaham, Mruganam cha Mrugendroham, Vainatescha Pakshinaha. Everywhere he is saying, out of Daityas, I am, like that. One Acharya says that when Krishna said, Vrishninam Aham Vasudevaha, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, right? Muninam Aham Vyasaha, Kavinam Ushana Kavi. So Arjuna became very delighted, it seems. अरे मेरा नाम बोल रहे हैं पांडवानाम हम धनंजय. He didn't say पांडवानाम युधिष्ठिरा. So like that you recognize everywhere, Krishna's vibhutis, right? Next, first, what is that first? Aham. What is the first verse? So anyway, Krishna is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhoha matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam. Prabhupada says, because if you know the source, then you will love him. Krishna is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhoha matta sarvam pravartate. Everything that is you see, animate and inanimate, material and spiritual, everything is coming from me. So those who understand this, they worship me with love. Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Bhava. We should worship Krishna with Bhava. Prabhupada is saying, very nice, hear the lectures. 10th chapter Bhagavad-gita. Prabhupada said that. So, Vedanam Samavedosmi. Devanam Aham Vasavaha. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. Right? Rudranam Shankaraschasmi. Vitteso Yaksharakshasam. Vasunam Pavakaschasmi. Meruhu Sikarinam Aham. Right? Then the most important verse, right? Maharshinam cha Bruguraham. Giram Aham Ekam Aksharam. Yajnanam Japayajñosmi. Stavaranam Himalayaha. Right? Anybody knows why Krishna is saying, I am Japayajna? Bolo? Raghupati Vishnu Prabhu. Why Krishna is saying, I am Japayajna? Why he didn't say this fire sacrifice? Because, for fire sacrifice, you need purified substances. Ghee and all that. Right? We don't have all this. But for Japayajna, you don't need any paraphernalia. Right? You just need one tongue and ears. You already have. One thing you should have. What is that? Desire. Desire to chant Hare Krishna. Anyway, I should stop here. So, etan vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tatvataha sa avikalpena yogena yujjate na atra samshayaha. So, anybody who understands my vibhutis, they will worship me with love. Right? Then is today's verse, Atava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham ham krishnam ekamsena stito jagat. One Acharya comments that even though Krishna is the owner of 3/4 spiritual world and the spiritual living entities, they are very obedient. But 1/4 of us, we are here. Still Krishna cries for all of us. Oh, when they will come back, when they will come back. Right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. This is how we should understand 10th chapter Bhagavad-gita and 9th chapter Bhagavad-gita. I can explain some other time, 9th chapter Bhagavad-gita also. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, any questions, corrections? Oh. Shamananda Prabhu, please tell.
So he was the main disciple of, he was one of the, he was one of the second generation of Vaishnavacharyas, of Shamanand and Narottam and Srinivas, the second generation of Vaishnavacharyas. So Shamananda, his name was Dukhi Krishnadas. He was from Orissa, I believe, and his name was Dukhi Krishnadas. But he came to Vrindavan, became one of the students of Jiva Goswami, along with Narottam and Srinivas. And later Jiva Goswami gave him a very simple service. You take the broom and you sweep the kunj. So if you come to Vrindavan, don't think that this is a menial service beneath me. But anyway, he took the broom and he was sweeping the kunjas every day. So one day he was sweeping and he saw one very valuable nupur. And he touched it. As soon as he touched it, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So then he very carefully took it with his cloth and tied it in his Bahirvash. So meanwhile, Radharani realized that her Nupur is missing. And she sent Lalita, you go and find it. It must be there in Seva Kunj. So Lalita Sakhi came there and she saw this fellow was sweeping. So she asked him, did you find one Nupur? He said, yes. Then you please give it to me. He said, you are the owner? He said, no, I'm the most confidential servant of the owner. No, it is a very valuable Nupur. I cannot give it to anyone except the owner. He was very clever. I said, no, you can give to me. I'm the most confidential servant of my Swamini. He said, no, only the owner can come and I will give it only to the owner. So she went back to Radharani and says like this. So Radharani personally came there. She received that Nupur. She put it on his forehead like this and special tilak came. Just like we filled the leaf that was empty like this. And then she took one little bell of that Nupur and she took some of the dust of her lotus feet and she put one bindi. And said, you have so much love for my Shamanand, your name will be, for my Sham, your name will be Shamanand. So then everyone saw that Dukhi Krishnadas, now he's calling himself Shamanand, he has this speculation tilak, So the rumors went around that, because he was a disciple of Gauridas Pandit, no? Or
Gopal Krishna Goswami.
Shamanand.
Gauridas Pandit?
No.
Gopal Bhatta Goswami.
No, he was Hridai Chaitanya, disciple of Gauridas Pandit, Hridai Chaitanya. So the news got back to Hridai Chaitanya that Jiva Goswami has given reinitiation. So then he called all the Mahants and he came there and he said, where have you got this tilak? He says, because the Guru gives the tilak. You'll see in Vrindavan, everybody, different types of tilak. And so they said, this is Vaita Parivar, this is Nityananda Parivar, like that. So he said, where have you got this tilak? It is all your mercy, Gurudev. And where have you got this name? It is your mercy, Gurudev. My mercy. Then he took some sand and he began to rub that tilak like that to wipe it out. And it began to shine brighter and brighter. And everyone saw this. Jiva Goswami is keeping his mouth shut because he had not proper, eating, sleeping, mating, defending his one. So Jiva Goswami, he just knew everything will come out. So he didn't defend himself. So then everyone saw this is getting brighter and brighter. Then Jiva Goswami explained to everyone that actually when he's sweeping, he found this Nupur, Radharani gave him this tilak and gave him this name. And then everyone bowed down and because they were all, he's got speculation, tilak, reinitiated, and this and that, and they were criticized, so they all bowed down and paid obeisances to him. So this is, I didn't study anything about Shamanand, but seeing today, I just noticed that Shamanand is there, and he was one of the three. They took just like we're exactly following in the footsteps of the great acharyas, because Jiva Goswami saw that here in Vrindavan the Goswamis wrote so many books and explaining how Radha and Krishna is the supreme goal, whereas in Bengal everybody's saying, Gora, 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 Gora. So we need to bring everybody together. So he wanted to send the books of the Goswamis to Bengal. So just like we take some old bus, we take all the seats out and we make a compartment to put all the books inside and we go on traveling Sankirtan. We're following the great acharyas. Because Jiva Goswami, he had some saints in Mathura make a very special Dodge van, no bullock cart. And to keep all the books. And he sent them on traveling Sankirtan to go to Bengal. Somewhere along the way, this dacoit king, Bir Hambir, he was so puffed up, not just beer, but Bir Hambir. His dacoit saw that there's some people coming with a cart, and his astrologer told him there's a great treasure in this cart. In the night they came and stole all the books. In the morning, because the guards, they fell asleep, because that's the constitutional position of the chokidar. So then in the morning, everyone was just, we can't imagine what they felt in the morning. And they opened up the van, their Sankirtan van, and no books are there. They were so shocked. So Srinivas told him, look, I will find out where the books are. You go to Bengal. So then Narottam and Srinivas and Shamanan, they went together to Keturigram. Meanwhile, Srinivas found out he managed to, the king, when he opened up the box and saw there's no treasure, there's books, then he understood he'd done a great aparad. And then Srinivas was sitting there and he was listening to some professional reciter. And Srinivas got up and said, no, it's not like that, it's like this, and that guy became very angry. Then Srinivas defended himself and everyone was astounded. And then the king says, what do you want? He said, well, we were traveling in your country and somebody stole our books. He said, oh, hi, that's me, So then he gave all the books back to Srinivas. But anyway, Shamanand and Narottam, they continued on to Keturigram and so many wonderful pastimes that I didn't study, so I can't remember all the pastimes of Shamanand. But you see, everybody who's Shamanandi, they have this tilak like this, and then they have a tilak colored bindi. Because similar is the Nimbarka tilak is also similar, it's open leaf like this, but they have a black bindi. That's the difference. But all the Shamanandis, they have this special tilak like this.
Where did he preach, Shyamananda Prabhu? I think Orissa?
Orissa, yeah. And one of his disciples was Rasikanand. And Rasikanand had one elephant that he gave initiation to.
I think Shirachara Gopinath, right? I think Shyamananda Prabhu's, I think Samadhi is there. Shirachara Gopinath Mandir?
Yes.
Rasikanand.
Yes, probably Rasikanand. Anyway, he was a very special devotee. His history is also very interesting, because one time he was sitting on a wall with his neem twig brushing his teeth, and somebody came that this Muslim dervish is coming riding on a tiger to challenge you, So he just sat there brushing his teeth, and after a while, the wall began to run. And then when the Muslim dervish saw this wall is running, he ran away. He said, I have tamed a wild animal, you've tamed an inanimate thing, so your power is more great than mine. So he ran away. Anyway, so many pastimes are there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other question here? Okay, I think we should stop. Feast is there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.